She said it softly as if the words were ordinary, harmless. "Do you want to stay here tonight?" The executive floor was almost dark. The kind of darkness that only appears after ambition has gone home. City lights pressed against the glass walls, distant and indifferent. I had been sitting across from Clara Whitmore for hours, reviewing compliance files that no one else wanted to touch, files that carried risk, files that carried names far more powerful than mine. "I'm not sleeping on the sofa," I said. It wasn't sarcasm. It was the last thin line of self-respect I still owned. For years, I had been the man quietly absorbing discomfort, skipped promotions, credit taken by others, late nights that ended with a silent ride home. The sofa had become a symbol of everything I refused to accept anymore. Clara didn't flinch. She didn't smile either. She studied me the way she studied spreadsheets, looking for patterns, not weakness. "There's a guest room," she replied. "And this isn't pity." That sentence changed everything. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was a mid-level compliance analyst in a corporation that worshipped loud confidence and punished quiet integrity. My job was simple on paper: identify risks, document them, protect the company. In reality, my job had turned into something else: cleaning up messes created by executives who believed rules were optional if profits looked good. 6 years of my life had gone into this place. 6 years of staying late, documenting issues no one wanted documented, writing reports that were acknowledged in private and ignored in public. I never complained. I believed the system would eventually reward honesty. 2 weeks ago, that belief cracked. My promotion vanished. Not denied, erased. No explanation, no meeting, no feedback. Just an updated organizational chart where my name no longer climbed upward. Instead, someone else stood there. Someone connected. Someone convenient. That same week, my access began to disappear. First one database, then another. Subtle enough to look like a technical error. Obvious enough to feel deliberate. Clara noticed before I did. "They locked you out of 3 systems today," she said calmly. "Do you know why?" I shook my head, though part of me already knew. "They're preparing," she continued. "And they're choosing you." The word settled heavily between us. I finally looked up. "For what?" She didn't answer immediately. She stood and walked toward the window, hands folded behind her back. The city reflected faintly in the glass. "There's a board meeting tomorrow morning," she said. "They're going to say compliance failed, that warnings weren't raised, that procedures broke down under your watch." I felt my chest tighten. Corporate betrayal didn't arrive with shouting or accusations. It arrived with calm voices and clean language. "I documented everything," I said quietly. "Every risk memo, every red flag." "I know," Clara replied. "That's the problem." Silence followed. The dangerous kind. The kind where you realize you are standing on the edge of a decision that can't be undone. "They think you're tired," she said. "They think you'll accept it quietly." "And what do you think?" I asked. She turned to face me. "I think you're the only one here who didn't betray this company." The word hit harder than any insult ever had. She took a breath. "Staying here tonight isn't about comfort. It's about time. Time to gather proof. Time to protect the truth. Time to decide whether integrity was worth the cost." I agreed. Not because of the guest room, but because, for the first time in years, someone in power had chosen to stand beside the quiet man, instead of stepping over him. That night we worked. Not loudly, not dramatically. We moved through systems I still had access to, pulling archived emails, approval chains, time-stamped warnings that had been ignored. Each document told the same story. Decisions made in private, consequences pushed downward. At one point, Clara stopped and looked at me. "You could have left," she said. "Most people would." "I couldn't," I replied. "If I walk away, someone else pays for it." She nodded once. No sympathy, just respect. By the time dawn touched the edges of the skyline, the truth was assembled, quiet, complete, unavoidable. And I knew one thing with certainty. Whether I survived the next day or not, I wouldn't be sleeping on any sofa again. The boardroom was full by 9 a.m., polished shoes, controlled smiles, voices carefully measured. Power always disguised itself as calm professionalism. I was seated at the far end of the table, exactly where they wanted me, present but forgettable. The CFO began speaking first. Smooth delivery, concerned tone. Words like oversight, regrettable lapse, and process failure floated across the table. Then my name appeared almost gently, woven into the narrative as if it belonged there naturally. I said nothing. Defending yourself too early only confirms guilt in rooms like this. Clara sat silently, hands folded, letting the story unfold the way they had planned it. When the CFO finished, she stood. She didn't accuse. She didn't raise her voice. She simply asked for the screen. What followed wasn't dramatic, and that's why it worked. Emails appeared one by one, risk warnings timestamped months earlier. My name at the bottom. Executive responses above them, dismissive. Approving shortcuts, overriding compliance recommendations. Approval chains led upward, not down. The room shifted. Chairs creaked. People stopped taking notes. Clara spoke carefully. These documents show that compliance functioned exactly as designed. The failure occurred after warnings were received and ignored. No shouting, no finger-pointing, just facts. The CFO attempted to interrupt. Clara didn't stop him. She simply advanced the slide. More evidence, more dates, more silence. She finished with one sentence. The only person who did his job correctly is the one you attempted to erase. No one spoke. The meeting ended early, not with resolution, but with consequences set in motion. I returned to my desk afterward, expecting something, a gratitude, recognition, maybe even an apology. None came, and strangely, I didn't feel disappointed. Later that afternoon, Clara stopped by. No audience, no authority in her tone. They won't touch you now, she said. But they also won't celebrate you. I nodded. I didn't do it for applause. She hesitated. Why did you stay? I thought for a moment. Because kindness isn't always gentle. Sometimes it's just refusing to let truth disappear quietly. Weeks passed. Changes came slowly. Policy revisions, new oversight layers, quieter corridors. The people responsible didn't vanish overnight, but their confidence did. Shortcuts became harder to hide. Questions returned to meetings. I remained where I was. Same desk, same title. But something had shifted. People began asking me before making decisions. Not loudly, not publicly, but they asked. One evening, as I packed my bag on time for the first time in years, Clara passed by. You don't have to stay late anymore, she said. I know, I replied, but I choose to. She smiled, not as an executive, but as someone who understood the cost of staying. Kindness didn't change my job title. It didn't make headlines. It didn't reward me publicly, but it did something quieter and far more lasting. It reminded everyone, watching, especially those who work, unseen, that integrity still has weight, that silent heroes don't need stages, and that sometimes the most powerful act of kindness is simply standing beside someone when the room has already decided to sit against them.